Hey, my name's Steve, and in today's video, I'm going to explain the two choices you have when ascending to 5D, 5-dimension reality. Okay, so I just drew this out because I was talking to someone and we were talking about this topic. So when you're ascending to 5D, you're going to find that you're in a space of the heart more often. You're going to find that you're coherent more often, meaning every cell in your body is aligned with the intention you set for yourself. And so, let me put this away for a minute and then I'll explain. When you're in this space, what happens is when you make intentions, you're not fighting against any previous negative patterns that you may have had in order to realize that intention. Meaning that there's no internal self-sabotage, you're not physically taking actions that are self-sabotaging, you're not feeling like a failure, you're not feeling fear, anxious, anxiety. You're feeling totally connected, aligned, and in the heart. Now, the art of this is that you have two choices when an obstacle or challenge shows up. Okay, so if you're an entrepreneur, for an example, you're going to get challenges. That's the basis of being in self-employed in business for yourself. There's going to be challenges. And when the challenges come, you can react a certain way that puts you in a negative timeline, or you can stay in the heart. And those are the choices you have, okay? So let me show you. So what happens, hopefully you can see this. Okay. So what happens is, you're going along, you get inspired, you get an idea to start a business or an idea to create something new, okay? That's when you're inspired, and that's when you're coherent. The heart opens up, it has a magnetic field that opens up and can be measured by at least 3 meters in diameter, and you're ready to go. And you're on the new timeline, which is 5 hertz, and you're moving and taking action, okay? But what happens is that you get a challenge, okay? Something comes up, maybe you run out of money, sales aren't coming in, something like that. And what happens is it may trigger something like anxiousness. You might get a feeling of failure. You're like, oh, here we go again. I'm getting the same pattern that's happened up. I start something, it doesn't show up, the sales don't start coming in, I start to get nervous and anxious, and then it falls apart. And what happens is you want to identify between what's happening outside and what's happening inside you. So on the outside, you might not be making sales, you might not have the money to continue the business, but on the inside you feel like a failure. And that shows up as in your sacral region, for example, or it could show up in any of the energy centers. And what happens is that energy center gets activated, and you got one of two choices when it gets activated. You maintain the new activated state, which is going to put you on a different timeline, and it's going to put you in a pattern where you see failure over and over and over again, because that's the pattern, failure, and you're seeing it on the outside over and over and over again. Or the other choice is you learn to let go, accept what's happened. What happens is internally that energy dissipates. It doesn't feel like anything anymore. You don't even feel the failure. You don't feel the anxiousness, the worry, even the fear. And then guess what happens? The heart opens up again. Those are your choices. You either you learn to let it go and get back into the space of the heart, or you continue on this old pattern. Those are your choices. It's always limitation or expansion. Limitation or expansion. Those are always your two choices. So what the key is that when you do get a failure, or you get something unexpected or a challenge show up, is to notice what it triggers in your body. Once you notice it, is to allow it, to let it go. You got to learn that skill, because most people don't learn that. They don't teach it in school. That's why I'm teaching it, and that's why I'm showing you how to do this. And then once you've let it go, you go back into the heart. The problem is that if you start and you get inspired, you have this amazing idea, or you have a business that's working really well, and you're in an inspired state, you're on a timeline that is going to continue to create inspired states and create expansion, prosperity, abundance for you. As soon as something happens and you get a challenge and you feel like a failure, and you stay in that lower negative vibration, well, now you activate a new timeline, which has a new set of circumstances, new information comes in, maybe you start thinking more about other failures you have, and then you continue on this downward trend, this downward timeline. The key is, again, when you get into a state where you feel internally that you're in a negative state because something outside triggered you, is to notice it, let it go. We do some breathing, there's some clapping techniques. But what I do is I bring a client through the process. Once you learn how to do this for yourself, you immediately will get something like, say something triggers you. You go to your bank and something in your bank balance triggers you and you're just like, you get triggered. You feel like a failure again. Do some techniques, start to let go of that resistance. Boom, the resistance let go, you're back in the heart. Now the heart can magnify, you feel inspired again. It's about where are you giving your time, attention, and energy? Are you spending it in a negative state, which creates a negative timeline with negative circumstances, negative information, more reinforcement of that timeline, that world? Or are you getting inspired and staying inspired in this higher vibration? Are you staying in a state of joy? Are you staying in a state of abundance and feeling in a state of giving and abundance? Depending on which timeline you are, you're going to activate certain timelines. So the key to ascension is that when you get into a negative pattern that shows up, you have one of two choices: let it go or elevate. Because one is going to create resistance and pain and frustration, and the other is not. It's going to create joy, abundance, an open heart. And when your heart's open and you're coherent, what happens is you have a lot more energy. The people around you can feel that energy, especially if they're in your vicinity or you're talking to them, you're speaking with them on the phone or on Zoom. They can feel it. They feel inspired too. They may even get inspired because of what you're doing. So when you have this state, not only does it change your timeline, but it changes the people around you. Same with this timeline. So it depends. Where are you going when challenges come? When challenges come up and they show up, something on the outside happens, all of a sudden there's a reaction on the inside. What are you doing? Are you staying in that negative state? Or are you elevating and empowering yourself to continue as an empowered, light human being? Well, that's up to you. And to learn the skill to do it, it's not something that came naturally to me. I had to learn it over the years. I had help to do it. And you might need help too. So if that's the case and you want to book an energy clearing session with me, there's a link down below to my calendar. You can jump on a call with me. It's completely free. What we do is we get on that call and I'm going to basically ask you some questions to find out where is the energy blocked and can I help you release it? And if I can, then we'll talk about how. Okay? And then we'll schedule some time and become a client and we go from there. If that's interest to you, great. Schedule time in my calendar. If not, that's okay too. Appreciate you. Love you. Thanks so much for watching and being a subscriber. If you are a subscriber, please give me a thumbs up and share this with someone that's important for them to see or learn about. And if you're not a subscriber and this is the first time you've watched the video, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Thanks again for watching. My name's Steve and we'll talk to you next time.